Our aid is about to flow into Gaza for the first time through a maritime route from Cyprus. The United Nations says the move is a test of the sea corridor after Israeli bombardment left vast areas of the enclave in ruins. The open arms vessel has reached the shores of northern Gaza in partnership with the American NGO World Central Kitchen. It brings around 200 tons of food and supplies into the enclave. Officials say the Israeli blockade has made it difficult for humanitarian aid to enter overland. That's forcing aid groups to deliver via an alternative route. The UN is warning of an imminent famine for more than 500,000 Palestinians since the war broke out 5 months ago. Gaza's health ministry says Israeli fire killed around 20 people who were waiting for aid yesterday near a roundabout. The Israeli military has denied carrying out that attack, calling the accusations erroneous. It alleges that armed Palestinians had opened fire on civilians. Meanwhile, Hamas earlier released a new ceasefire proposal to mediators with details about a hostage for prisoner release. Under this proposal, Hamas plans to release Israeli women, children, elderly and ill hostages in exchange for the release of up to 1,000 Palestinian prisoners. The US-backed measure has drawn criticism from Israel, which has denounced Washington for lauding the move as a window of opportunity for a permanent cessation of hostilities. Australia, Sweden, Canada and the European Union have now resumed funding to Gaza. The move follows a probe into Israeli allegations against the UN relief agency earlier this year. Tel Aviv had accused 12 employees of participating in attacks carried out on the 7th of October by Hamas. And for more, Sarah Coates joins us live from Jerusalem. Sarah, the open arms aid ship, now that has made it safely. It's about to dock off the Gaza coast. But as a method of delivering aid into Gaza, how effective is it?
Hello there, Wei Su. Well, that is yet to be seen, given that this ship is still sitting off the coast and hasn't yet been unloaded, according to this aid group coordinating this pilot project. Another larger ship is now being loaded in Cyprus, and it will set sail after this original ship is unloaded by these humanitarian aid groups. What we do need to remember here is that there are currently no working ports in Gaza. They have all been destroyed, with these aid groups, the World Central Kitchen, really behind building a temporary port. They are using rubble from destroyed buildings to try and get this moving ahead so they can actually get this aid off the ship and then get it to these people who so desperately need it. But according to these NGOs, these aid groups, what really needs to happen here is an immediate ceasefire. They say that these airdrops and this maritime corridor simply is not enough to get this aid to these people who are so desperately needing it, with the United Nations saying right now that a quarter of the population in the Gaza Strip is on the brink of famine. And this, of course, comes as Hamas has submitted a proposal to these mediators for a hostage release deal and also a ceasefire. We can tell you that a little later today, the Israeli War Cabinet and also the Security Cabinet will be discussing this. No word on what will happen there yet.
So, of course, today, the first Friday prayers of Ramadan since the start of war in Gaza. What is the situation like in the Al-Aqsa compound?
Well, that's the compound there that you can just see behind me. It is the third holiest site in Islam. So far, it is somewhat calm, but also very tense on the ground. Some 3,000 very heavily armed Israeli border guards have been deployed. Basically, when you walk around the old city, they are everywhere. There are checkpoints. They are checking the bags of people, making other people lift up their shirts. We do understand that some 80,000 Muslim worshippers did actually make it into this compound for prayer just a short while ago. But according to numerous reports, others from the West Bank were not permitted to enter. This is basically anyone under the age of 55 if you're a man, or under the age of 50 for females. So certainly a lot of tension here in the old city. Friday prayer is generally can be in a very explosive time, and it really it doesn't take much to trigger violence here in this old city, and we will certainly be following this view throughout the afternoon very closely. Wei Su.
Well, thanks, Sarah Coates reporting live to us there from Jerusalem.